Most people miss wealth because they only understand money physically. They think wealth is just the amount in the account, the payment that comes in, the thing they can hold, spend, show, or prove. And yes, wealth can absolutely be money. But if you only see money as money, you miss the deeper part of what is moving through it. Because spiritually, money is not as simple as people think. It has a way different meaning. And if you are spiritually attuned, you might already have an idea of what it is. Because once you understand the spiritual meaning of money, abundance will never look the same again. Money is not just paper, numbers, or something people chase because they want comfort. Money is movement. It is human effort turned into something that can travel. It is attention made visible. It is hours, sacrifice, discipline, and value compressed into a form that can move from one hand to another. That is why money becomes dangerous when someone sees it only as power, because money does not make a person spiritual or unspiritual. It reveals what was already moving inside them. In greedy hands, money becomes noise. It becomes ego. It becomes control. It becomes a way to feel bigger while the soul remains empty. But in clean hands, money becomes medicine. It builds. It feeds. It takes pressure off a family. This is the spiritual essence of money that most people never understand. Money is not the final destination. It is a tool. And the universe does not trust everyone with tools, because a tool in the wrong hands can destroy what it was meant to build. It flows toward the person who understands that wealth is not here to make them superior. One of the clearest signs that wealth was written into your path may have started before you even knew what money was. It started in the way you felt things deeply, the way you noticed pain in people before they said a word, the way you cared when it would have been easier not to care. If you have always had an empath soul, if you have always been the person who could sense the weight in a room, understand what others were hiding, or give love even when you were tired, that was not weakness. That was training. Most people do not understand how valuable that is because the world teaches you to admire the loudest person, the coldest person, the person who can take without feeling anything. But spiritually, empathy is one of the rarest forms of intelligence. It allows you to understand need. It allows you to create from compassion. It allows you to see what people are missing, what they are afraid of, what they are silently praying for, and that kind of awareness can become a doorway to wealth. Because every true form of wealth is connected to solving something for someone. Being an empath is not easy. It means you feel more, carry more, notice more, and sometimes suffer more because your heart does not let you walk through life blind. But that is exactly why the universe can trust certain souls with abundance. Because someone has to do the work of building without destroying. Someone has to hold resources without becoming cruel. Someone has to receive more and still remember the people who have less. Wealth does not always go to the one who wants to own the world. Sometimes it goes to the one who still has enough heart to heal a piece of it. And when money begins to move toward a person like that, it is not just a reward. It is a responsibility. It is the universe saying, I know what this will become in your hands. I know you will not only use it to shine. You will use it to lift, to protect, to build, and to give back in ways that only someone with a deep heart would even think about. One of the most overlooked signs that wealth is getting closer is that you stop looking at money the same way. Not because you suddenly stop wanting it, and not because you pretend you are above it, but because something in you begins to mature around it. You stop seeing money as this magical finish line where all your problems disappear, and you start seeing it more like a current, something that moves, something that carries intention, something that can either build life or expose what was already broken inside a person. Because money is never just money. Money is choice. Money is protection. Money is the ability to take an idea that only existed in your mind and give it a body in the real world. And when the universe is preparing someone for wealth, it starts changing the way they relate to that current. They no longer want money just to look powerful. They start thinking about what it could repair, who it could help, what it could create, and what kind of pressure it could finally remove from the people they love. That is when wealth consciousness becomes real. It is the quiet realization that abundance in the right hands can feed families, restore dignity, fund dreams, protect peace, and change the direction of an entire bloodline. When abundance is getting closer, you stop fantasizing about people watching you win. And that sounds small, but it is not small at all, because for a long time, many people do not just want success. They want witnesses. They want the people who doubted them to finally see. They want the old friends, the old enemies, the old version of themselves, and even the people who ignored them to turn around and realize they were wrong. But then, something shifts. Quietly, without forcing it, you stop needing the reaction. You stop building your future around an imaginary audience. You stop picturing how people will look at you when you finally have the house, the money, the freedom, the peace, the glow, the proof. Your goals become quieter, more private, more sacred, not because they became smaller, but because they became real. And this is a sign most people miss, because the ego thinks success has to be seen to be valid. But spiritually, the universe sometimes delays wealth until your identity is no longer dependent on being seen as wealthy. Because if abundance comes too early, it does not become freedom. It becomes performance. It becomes another costume for the same insecurity. Wealth that still needs applause is not wealth yet. It is hunger wearing expensive clothes. So when you stop needing to prove yourself, do not think you lost ambition. You may have finally purified it. You may have finally reached the point where you want the blessing for what it can build, not for who it can impress. And that is powerful because the universe can trust a private person with public blessings. It can trust someone who no longer needs to turn every breakthrough into a stage. When your success no longer needs an audience, it becomes much harder for the world to control what you do with it. Before material wealth shows up, something strange happens to your attention. You start guarding it differently. Things that used to entertain you begin to feel expensive. The pointless drama, the constant comparison, the random opinions, the endless noise, the conversations that go nowhere, the people who only come around to drain your spirit. Suddenly, all of it starts costing too much, even if no money is leaving your hand. That is because attention is one of the most hidden currencies in your life. Wherever your attention goes, your energy follows. Wherever your energy goes, your decisions follow. And wherever your decisions go, your future eventually follows. So if something owns your attention long enough, it does not just distract you, it starts shaping the life you are walking into. This is why, before wealth comes, you may become unexpectedly selective. You may not be able to scroll the same way, listen to the same complaints, entertain the same arguments, or keep feeding the same inner chaos. Not because you became boring, not because you think you are better than anyone, but because your inner world starts feeling valuable. Maybe wealth begins when you stop spending your inner world like loose change. And once that shift happens, your whole life starts rearranging itself. You begin to understand that not everything deserves access to your mind. Not every opinion deserves a seat in your spirit. Not every distraction deserves the power to pull you away from what is being built inside you. Most people imagine wealth as the moment problems finally stop touching them. They imagine that once the money arrives, the pressure disappears, the fear disappears, the insecurity disappears, and life becomes this clean, effortless place where nothing can reach them anymore. But before real abundance comes, the universe starts removing that illusion, because if you worship wealth as an escape from being human, money will not free you. It will only give your old problems a more expensive room to live in. This is why the preparation can feel confusing. You may start realizing that money cannot give you a stable identity, cannot make you feel worthy forever, cannot heal every insecurity, and cannot replace peace. It can open doors, create options, protect your time, and change your circumstances. But if your inner world is still built on fear, then even abundance will feel like something you have to defend. And that is how people become trapped by the very thing they chased. They finally get more, but now they are terrified of losing it, obsessed with proving it, and still empty in places they thought money would fill. Wealth is powerful, but it was never meant to become your soul. So if the universe has been making you see money differently, it is not denying you. It may be protecting you from becoming someone you would not even recognize. It may be teaching you that real abundance is not freedom from every problem, but freedom from being owned by every problem. It is not a life where nothing ever challenges you. It is a life where you have the strength, the clarity, and the resources to respond without losing yourself. The universe is not making you wait because it forgot you. It might be teaching you what not to become. And now, it's time for today's comment of the day. To anyone finding their fire again, may it come back steady, unshakable, and impossible to lose. You are not alone. Finding your fire again is different from finding it the first time. The first time, it's excitement. The second time, it's earned. You've already been through disappointment, setbacks, exhaustion, maybe even periods where you wondered if that feeling would ever come back. So when it returns, you don't want something loud. You want something steady, something that stays. And I really like the wish in this comment, not for intensity, not for speed, but for something unshakable. If your fire is coming back, may it return gently, strongly, and in a way that no setback can take from you. And that last part matters too. You are not alone. Thank you for sharing this. Sometimes, before a major life change, life gets quieter in a way you did not expect. Certain people become harder to be around. Certain conversations start feeling heavy before they even begin. Certain places that used to feel normal suddenly feel like they are pulling you backward, not because everyone around you is bad, but because your spirit is no longer moving in the same direction. And this is where many people misunderstand the sign. They think isolation means rejection. They think something is wrong because they are not fitting into the same rooms, laughing at the same things, or feeling connected to the same energy anymore. But sometimes isolation is not punishment. Sometimes it is separation with a purpose. It is the universe creating enough silence around you so you can finally hear the life that is trying to call you forward. Some rooms do not reject you because you failed. They release you because your future can no longer breathe there. That kind of isolation can feel uncomfortable at first, but it is not empty. It is protective. It keeps you away from voices that would shrink your vision before it even has roots. It removes you from environments that only know how to recognize the older version of you. And slowly, you begin to understand that the silence was not there to break you. It was there to stop you from carrying old noise into a new season. Before wealth comes, the universe may give you space because the next version of your life needs room to enter. One of the clearest signs that the universe is preparing you for more is that your discernment becomes sharper. You start noticing things you used to overlook, not because you are trying to judge everyone, not because you suddenly became paranoid, but because your spirit begins picking up on details your old self was too distracted to see. The tone behind someone's words starts mattering more than the words themselves. The way people react to your growth starts telling you more than their compliments ever did. The little jokes, the subtle jealousy, the sudden silence when you speak about your future, the people who support you when you are struggling but become uncomfortable when you start rising. All of it begins to speak. And this is important because wealth does not just attract opportunity. Wealth also attracts expectation, entitlement, hidden competition, false friendship, and people who want access to what they did not help build. That is why the universe often sharpens your discernment before it increases your resources. It knows that abundance without wisdom can become dangerous. You can have money, talent, influence, open doors, and a beautiful opportunity in front of you. But if you cannot tell the difference between someone who loves you and someone who only loves what they can get from you, that blessing can become a trap. This is why certain situations may suddenly feel clearer. You may start realizing who only appears when they need something. You may see who tries to make you feel guilty for wanting a better life. Discernment is the security system the universe installs before it gives you something worth protecting. Because it is not enough to receive more. You must be able to protect your peace, your energy, and your future from people who would spend it carelessly if you gave them the chance. Another sign that something greater is preparing to enter your life is that your hunger for growth becomes stronger in a way you cannot fully explain. You may suddenly feel pulled to learn more, think better, move differently, protect your time, clean up your habits, improve your mindset, and become more intentional with the way you live. It is not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it starts as a quiet discomfort with wasting your own potential. You look at the way you have been spending your days, the things you keep postponing, the distractions you keep allowing, the excuses you keep repeating, and something inside you says, I cannot keep living beneath what I know is possible for me. That hunger is not random. Before wealth comes, the universe often awakens a deeper appetite inside you because abundance needs a larger version of you to land on. Not a perfect version, but a more available one, a more disciplined one, a more honest one, a version of you that can handle increase without collapsing under it. So suddenly, you may want to read, build, plan, study, create, save, invest your energy more wisely, improve your body, improve your environment, or finally take seriously the gift you kept treating like a side thought. And even if your outer life has not changed yet, something inside you begins preparing like it already knows a door is getting ready to open. This is where many people misunderstand the process. They think motivation comes after the blessing. They think once the money arrives, once the opportunity appears, once the platform grows, once the perfect moment comes, then they will become disciplined. But spiritually, it often happens the other way around. The hunger comes first. The inner stretching comes first. The desire to become sharper comes first. Because the universe does not wait for you to become ready after the door opens. It starts making you ready while the door still looks closed. Your hunger for growth is often your future calling you before your circumstances can prove it. That is why you may feel less satisfied with things that used to be enough. Not because you are ungrateful, but because your capacity is expanding. A person can be thankful for where they are and still know they are not meant to stop there. Gratitude does not mean shrinking your vision. Gratitude means honoring what you have while still respecting the call to become more. And when wealth is near, that call can become intense. You may feel like you're being pushed from the inside to stop playing with your own life, to stop negotiating with distractions, to stop postponing the habits that would make the next level feel natural instead of overwhelming. And if you're still watching, I truly appreciate you. Sometimes the universe prepares the person before it reveals the blessing. So if your mind is changing, if your values are shifting, if you are becoming more careful with your energy, more serious about your future, and more aware of what abundance actually means, do not ignore that. That may be the beginning of wealth taking shape inside you before it shows up around you. Keep your heart clean. Keep your hands open. Keep becoming someone who can carry more without losing themselves. Because what is meant for you does not only have to reach you, it has to recognize you when it arrives.